Good morning. You know what you need? You need a rival. Someone to hate, or at least love hating. Someone that angers you, prods and pulls out your better performance, your more disciplined and focused work ethic, and the drive to win, the drive to succeed. An even better example than the fictional Rocky and Apollo Creed rivalry is the one between Magic and Bird. When it comes to discussions about the best players in the NBA's history, two names usually come up: Larry Bird and Magic Irving Johnson. They were individually two of the most compelling players to ever grace the hardwood. Gifted passers who possessed almost an outer-worldly sense of players and positions on the basketball court. They were virtually unrivaled in clutch situations. They prided themselves for their defense as much as their offense, and they worked harder than any of their teammates, and they defined basketball for a decade. The rivalry between basketball legends Magic Johnson and Larry Bird first garnered national attention during the 1979 NCAA National Championship. Johnson led Michigan State to victory, defeating Bird and Indiana State in the highest-rated college basketball game of all time. Both players had captured the nation's attention in the NCAA finals, and they joined NBA teams that already hated each other. Magic with the LA Lakers and Bird to the Boston Celtics. Magic beat Larry again in the 1984 NBA championship, but then Larry beat Magic in the 1985 championship, but then lost again to Magic in 1987. In the 1980s, the Boston Celtics and the Los Angeles Lakers dominated professional basketball, winning a combined 8 titles during a decade that was known as the golden era of the NBA. Magic Johnson and Larry Bird both became household names and were the biggest stars in basketball. Over time, these two teams had won the 2 highest numbers of championships: the Celtics 17, the LA Lakers 16. Together, they account for 33 of the 69 NBA championships in all of history. We had Magic Johnson on the cover of Success back in 2010. Magic said this: "We were so competitive that there was a dislike there. I even hated him more because I knew that he could beat me." They were constantly compared to each other, and their successes and failures were also measured against each other. Many sports broadcasters saw the key similarities in their playing styles, which pushed both of them to fight even harder and improve their game and come out on top. Magic admits that the first thing he'd do in the morning is look up Larry's stats from the game night before. He said, "That was all the motivation I needed to keep upping my game." The sports headlines about the pair practically wrote themselves: "Flashy Magic against Country Boy Larry." Their rivalry was the biggest story in basketball, culminating in a Converse commercial shot in 1986. In the commercial, Larry Bird, known as the Hick from French Lick, plays basketball at his country home while Magic Johnson pulls up in a limo and challenges him to a game. To further cement their rivalry, Converse released a line of shoes featuring the Bird shoe and the Magic shoe. While shooting that commercial, however, the rivalry turned friendly. They started hoping for the other's success so that each would measure themselves against the other and continue to improve as a player. Then in 1991, Magic was unexpectedly forced to retire from professional basketball because he contracted HIV. The day after Magic's announcement, Bird found himself preparing for a regular season game. He stretched his back, loosened up by jogging through the corridors of the arena, shot baskets from his usual spots on the floor, and for the first time in his life, he had no desire to play. His competitor, his rivalry, who by then had become his friend, was gone from the sport. Magic had played a major role in making Bird who he was. A few months later, at his retirement ceremony, Magic said this: "I want to thank Larry Bird personally for bringing out the best in Magic Johnson, because without you, I could never have risen to the top." Ali was great because of Frazier. Shakespeare was great because of Marlowe, and Raphael and Michelangelo pushed each other to new heights. Some people seem to think that competition is a dirty word. It isn't. Competition is one of the most compelling realities of the natural world. While connection is necessary to keep us thriving, competition is necessary to keep us striving. "Iron sharpens iron," wrote King Solomon, "so one man sharpens another." Some of the greatest successes we've witnessed in history were born out of a rivalry. Coke and Pepsi, Microsoft and AOL, Bill Gates and Steve Jobs, Apple and Google, Facebook and Google, Nike and Reebok, Ford and GM, Edison and Tesla, AT&T and MCI, HP and IBM, McDonald's and Burger King, Hertz and Avis, and the list goes on and on. As Charles M. Schwab once said, the way to get things done is to stimulate competition. So let me ask you this. Who is your rival? I want you to find one, learn about them, study them, find out what they do well, and then go master those things. And then find their Achilles heel and master that too. Use their example, their success, their progress as fuel for your mojo. You don't have to hate them literally, but you can hate losing to them. Use that energy to drive you beyond your best every day. Personally, I look for models of inspiration. Typically, it is other people's stories of their triumphs. One of the books that I got to do this whole thing again. What happened? I'm just got to feel it. Let's see, what, if you want to continually do this also tomorrow. Okay.